Hello everyone. Today is Thursday, June 25th, 2020. I am currently in Elgin, Illinois, a medium-sized city located about 40 miles west of Chicago on the banks of the beautiful Fox River. I'm doing a walking tour of the downtown and waterfront. So without further ado, let's go. This is my first narrated video, so please excuse any awkwardness. I've never done anything like this before, but I figured this could be a good way to get out of the house and share with you all what the city has to offer. Elgin is one of my favorite cities because it's so easily accessible on foot and bike. It really does embody the city in the suburbs mantra, I think. And that namesake partially comes from the city's industrial heritage as a major manufacturing hub in northern Illinois. It was once known as the butter capital of the world, according to my notes. Achieving fame for the dairy goods sold in the mid-1800s. That was right around the time the city was founded in 1832. But as time went on, it became more of a manufacturing-based economy, with the Elgin watch factory quickly becoming the largest producer of fine watches in the United States up until 1965, when the factory was shut down and Elgin lost a major employer. That seems to have been the story of many industrial towns throughout the Midwest. The decline of industry through the middle of the 20th century. But hopefully, as you'll see, Elgin has, in many ways, been able to recover economically. There are a large number of restaurants and bars, newer apartment buildings which have gone up in the last 10 or 20 years that have really been able to rejuvenate this area. Of course, the ongoing pandemic isn't helping that situation. Many of the businesses are temporarily closed or are being required to implement strict social distancing requirements, outdoor dining, things of that nature. But this street here was part of the 2014 streetscape renovation, which completely redid most of the downtown to include wider sidewalks, street lamps, street trees, things of that nature. I think it looks quite nice, personally. Elgin is accessible via the Metro commuter rail Milwaukee District West line, as you may be able to hear in the distance. Just beyond the trees. But that line runs to Union Station in the Chicago Loop. That's the downtown business district, in other words. And Elgin is also accessible via the I-90 tollway to the city of Chicago for any intrepid tourists or visitors. According to my notes, Elgin was once also served by the Chicago, Aurora, and Elgin Interurban Railway until 1957. That was an electric streetcar system that carried passengers the 40 miles all the way to downtown Chicago and the Loop, which is hard to imagine today, but once upon a time, cities like this were well served by public transit and streetcar lines. Lots of boutique shops in this street. Not many of them seem to be very busy. Probably on account of, a number of factors, really. The coronavirus, the worsening economy, recent protests for social justice and whatnot. Hopefully these businesses will be able to hang on as best they can. So that when things finally get back to normal, we can retain some of our locally owned mom and pop stores. But speaking of the economy, the Grand Victoria Riverboat Casino is located on the Fox River and has been a major employer in Elgin since the manufacturing left. As well as the retail and service industry. Despite its industrial heritage, Elgin has actually grown in population, to my knowledge, over the last few decades, which unfortunately has not been the case in many of these post-industrial cities. That's partly to do with the city's proximity or suburban development on its western edge, which has seen the proliferation of tract housing and various other auto-oriented businesses. While that may have been good for the city's finances, I can't say that's personally the type of area I like to walk. It can be quite difficult to get from place to place since everything's so spread out. But on the other hand, it has meant that it's green now. It's meant that the broader city of Elgin has been able to pay for, finance many of the regeneration projects or urban redevelopment projects in the city center, which I like to see personally. I find cities infinitely fascinating. The diversity of people, diversity of shops, restaurants, things to do. It's my favorite kind of place. Now, some people, they like to hate on Elgin. They say, oh, it's old, it's dirty, there's crime, all these things. But I've always found Elgin to be a very friendly sort of place. Especially considering it's sort of situated in a mostly suburban part of Chicagoland. That's the Chicago metropolitan area, where people can be at times very insular, I guess, and a place where people just want to drive from point A to point B, never get out of their cars to appreciate the nooks and crannies, appreciate the way we used to build our cities, which in my opinion were for people and pedestrians and cyclists. And and that sort of thing. That's been lost from so many of our cities and suburbs. They've been torn down. This is a nice pedestrianized street. They've been torn down to make way for parking lots and Walmarts and various other big box retailers and tract houses. And I think that's a shame. I think the way that we used to build cities in America is so much healthier. Healthier for us physically, healthiest for us psychologically. We humans are social creatures, I think. And it's really important for us to get human contact. Even if it is just on the street, people we don't necessarily know. But looking someone in the eye, seeing people dining outdoors, all that kind of thing is really, really, really important, I think. So that's why I wanted to start this YouTube channel, to share with you all who may be stuck inside on account of quarantine, the places that I find so intriguing and lovely. I would say I've also started this channel because I need to get out of the house myself. It's been months since the whole coronavirus shelter in place started, and it's been really, really hard for a lot of people to be stuck indoors, unable to appreciate the outdoors and public spaces like we used to. So hopefully this is a good way to do that, and to encouraging anyone out there watching to do the same. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong being a tourist in your own city or your own area, your own neighborhood even. Just get outside, enjoy the fresh air, and focus on the things you can control. There's so many things right now that are outside of our control that just seem to be going so horribly wrong. There's the Metro Milwaukee District West commuter line. But so many things seem to be going wrong in the world. It's really important to focus on the things that you can control, that make you happy, even if it's something as simple as taking a walk, or taking a walk someplace new. I don't come to Elgin terribly often, but I'd like to come here more. The Grand Victoria Riverboat Casino is just up this way. We'll try and have a look at it. Of course, these sorts of things can be quite controversial. not everyone likes the idea of a casino in their town. And to my knowledge, it was a big debate in Elgin when it was first proposed some years ago. But here it is. And many of its proponents say that it's been a boon to the city's finances. It's helped support many of the riverside improvements you see here, and the sidewalk improvements in downtown. So love it or hate it, it's here. And it's probably not going anywhere anytime soon. It is a beautiful day. The temperature is about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is Celsius. I apologize. I'm a backwards American who doesn't know the metric system. But you can probably do the conversion. It's very comfortable. Let's put it that way. Sunny. A few clouds in the sky, but overall, great day to be outdoors. Here's the casino. You may be able to make it out just behind these trees. It is really a boat, I think. It's on the water at least. But this is probably as far as I'll go until I turn around back towards the place I started from. There's the Elgin Tower in the distance. I'll probably walk towards these townhouses here by the park. I think a lot of festivals are held here in this park during normal times. Down by the waterfront, it's quite a nice area. But we'll walk probably through this townhouse development and back towards some of the historic core. In terms of architecture, Elgin has a very eclectic mix of I have a stop sign. Mix of Victorian architecture and Queen Anne style homes in its older neighborhoods. Every year they host, I believe it's the Historical Society hosts an open house where many of the homeowners will open their doors to visitors, architectural enthusiasts, of which I would consider myself one, to appreciate and take in the 19th and 20th century craftsmanship, which can be found. I did that tour a number of years ago and thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll go up the block. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's quite a beautiful set of buildings on that hill. Looks like a 2-flat or a 4-flat apartment building faced with brick. as well as some more modest homes. This is still a relatively working class neighborhood and city, I should say. Many of the residents aren't super high income earners like in other suburbs, but that said, you can't deny that these homes are quite beautiful. Let's cross this street quickly before I get run over. We'll walk up towards what I believe is the high school, or one of the local high schools. And then we'll probably wrap up this video. This camera doesn't have a super wide angle lens, so I apologize for that. It has sort of a fixed field of view, but I've enjoyed it. It's the DJI Osmo Pocket, sort of a 3-axis gimbal and camera integrated together that cost around $300. I'm certainly not an expert on these sorts of things. I've never actually owned a gimbal before this, but I would say that I'm happy with my purchase and would recommend this camera to anyone looking to get into videography, or that's even what it's called, or vlogging. I guess this would be considered vlogging. Here's a nice park. Quite nice. Quite a nice home undergoing renovations. If you like this kind of content, walking tours, I would recommend a few walking-based YouTube channels that I personally like. One of them is ActionKid. He's based in New York City. One of the more popular walking-based channels, and he posts almost every day, if not every day, with live streams and tours of the various neighborhoods in Queens and Brooklyn and Manhattan and the others. But hello. How are you? Bye. That was unexpected. Random kid on a motorcycle with his sister. This is why I love Elgin. There's a real sense of community here. Wow, that's a beautiful house. Beautiful, beautiful. Love this brick. Wow, look at that. Love to have a house just like that. So cool. There's a real sense of community here. And yeah, that's why I like it. Some places you go, there's no community. And people just stay inside. They drive from place to place and they never interact with folks on the street. Wow, this is really cool. It's a multi-level thing going on. Sort of evoking the architecture of Chicago here. These apartment buildings. I guess that's just the era in which they were built. These two are quite historic looking, but I'll go back to the downtown where I started from, and probably call this video done and dusted, finished. Oh, right. I was making recommendations for walking-based YouTube channels. I also want to recommend WindWalkTravelVideos. They're based on the West Coast. They're quite good. Walking Los Angeles, San Francisco. I've seen Las Vegas, and some others. I'll try to post the link to WindWalk videos in the description, as well as TheTable, I believe, sort of a slightly confusing name, but TheTable does good videos. Also walking primarily on the West Coast, so I'll try to link to all their channels down in the description. But I really wanted to try it for myself, and again share with you all my backyard, even though it may not be quite as interesting as the big cities on the coasts, but there's something wholesome, I suppose, about these sort of Midwestern places. So if you like this video, please consider giving it a like or subscribing to my channel. I'll try to post as frequently as I can this summer. I don't have a lot else going on, if I'm honest, but I have a number of places brainstormed that I'd like to visit, including the 606 bike trail in Chicago. That's an old elevated rail line that has been since converted into a bike trail and walking path through the city's north side. It's been closed, but I think it was more recently reopened again, so that's great. The Lakefront Trail, of course, also in Chicago, has been recently reopened to my knowledge, so I'd like to check that out, and possibly go up to Madison, Wisconsin, a great bike-friendly city for anyone really. They have a great system of trails, and the city center is quite dense and walkable, so we'll have to check out the Wisconsin state capitol hopefully in the next few weeks and months. But I'll probably leave it here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.